Today on Dr. Phil.
I wish my parents would divorce.
They're not bad people, but when they're together, they're horrible parents.
Would divorce
Do you hate this guy?
I don't like him very much.
help this family?
When children grow up where there's yelling and violence, it is unbelievable what happens to them.
Or hurt it?
It's not too late for this one, this one, this one. It is not too late for either of you.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I know things are tough out there, but we can do this. If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about.
10 seconds to air.
Well, thank you. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Ready, camera 5.
Take track.
If your house feels like a war zone because you're fighting daily with your spouse, then do me a favor. I want you to stop what you're doing right now, take a seat, and pay close attention to this show, not just for you, but for everybody in your family. Because here's the question. How do you know when and if it's time to just call it quits? Are you staying together for the children? Well, what if the children don't want you to stay together for them? I've said it many times. If you're in a high conflict marriage and it's marked by violence, yelling, screaming, demeaning attacks on one another, children would rather come from that broken home than live in it. And today, you're going to hear from sons and daughters who say, the research is right. I want my parents to get a divorce. Now, 22-year-old Melissa wrote a letter to me because she feels her parents' fighting has got to stop. And if that means that they have to go their separate ways, fine. That's fine. That would be better than what they're living now. Now, Melissa actually sent me a letter of what it's like in her house. She's here. She's here with her sisters, Mariah and Alex. She's going to read excerpts from that letter. So what do you have, Melissa?
Dear Dr. Phil, I am writing to you as a last resort for my parents' marriage. My brothers, sisters, and I grew up listening to them argue and police being called. They have talked about getting a divorce for as long as I can remember. Their excuse for not getting divorced was always for the children, when in reality, we have seen nothing but unhappy parents all our life. I beg of you, Dr. Phil, please help our big family. If this doesn't work, I will go down to the courthouse myself and get the divorce papers. Please help us.
You guys feel the same way?
Yes, of course.
Enough is enough, right? Either fix this or change it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know your parents are out on stage right now.
Yes.
We're going to go talk to them and we're going to be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys come with me. You guys follow right along. Now, this has gotten violent, right?
Right.
Your dad has spit on your mother. He's pulled her hair. He's ripped her clothes. The police have been called.
Correct.
I mean, this has gotten bad.
It's gotten really bad.
And, you know, children, watch your step. Children often don't have a voice. But today, I want all three of you to have a voice, not just for you, but there's a little sister involved as well, right?
Madison.
And she's 5.
Right.
Big deal. You guys have a seat. Dr. Phil. Willie, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Phil.
How you doing? Let's look at what's actually going on with their parents, Lisa and Willie.
I wish my parents would divorce now.
I see how miserable my parents are, and I believe if they did get divorced, they'd be way happier.
It seems like there's no hope for them anymore.
I set up a camera to film their arguments.
Tapped out. Freaking find this person that you freaking need and leave me the hell alone.
My husband and I are at a point where it's either going to make it or break it.
When we argue, we seem to yell and scream, and it just escalates.
Quit freaking asking me and ignoring me and saying me, and then asking me again.
My wife has brought up divorce 15, 20 plus times.
You know, the only thing that kept him from going through on a divorce is when he found out he was going to have to give me 50% of everything.
What are you talking about?
He annoys me a lot. Even though you think you're so noble, you're not. Most of the arguments are about money. Now you're lying. And who spends $300 and $400? You do. You're the big spender, Willie. You
on me so many times. And then I'm freaking doing all the freaking hard work.
Sometimes my children have seen us argue.
They fight about money. They fight about my mom going out, and they fight about her gambling, and they fight about the way she spends her money.
My husband in the past has assaulted me by hitting me, pulling my hair, ripping my clothes.
I was 7 years old when I first remember the violence.
I've witnessed probably 3 times that they've been arrested.
The cops came for my dad and handcuffed him right in front of me.
I'll tell you the biggest thing that he does with my children that kills me, that just is enough all by itself to end this marriage. He sucks them in to our adult issues. He only brings them in a situation if it's some way that he can make me look bad. That kills me.
My wife will tell me I'm worthless, I'm a piece of you're not right for me.
I have a real hard time believing pretty much almost everything that you say.
And that's fine.
I cannot live like this any longer. You make me a different person in a bad way.
So what do you have to say about that?
Well, first that I'm sorry that I've hurt my children over the years, and it's horrible seeing it all together, laid out like that, but I guess you just get so caught up in it that you don't really realize that the children are being affected.
Do you hate this guy?
I don't hate him. I don't hate anybody.
Do you not like him?
I don't like him very much.
Do you love him?
I mean, he's a father to my children, so I love a part of him, yes.
If you knew then what you know today, would you marry him?
No.
You didn't even have to think about that.
No.
So if you could turn the clock back, you would not marry him?
No.
What do you say about this?
We've argued and argued constantly. I hate arguing. I just hate arguing. But I do love this woman.
You've attacked her physically, right?
Yes, I have.
I mean, what have you done physically?
Pulled her hair, and ripped her shirt. So.
You hit her?
No, I didn't hit her. I pulled her hair.
You might want to clear that up, Willie, because it's happening.
Hey, guys, come on, listen. You guys came here, you wrote this letter because you want my help, right?
Right.
If anything else happens, I mean, look at these girls here. These girls are reaching out for help for this family. We got the tail wagging the dog here. Parents should be leading the family. Parents should be navigating the terrain. Parents should be guiding the way. That's not happening. They're coming and reaching out. Don't insult them by coming here and telling half-truths and putting spin on things. If I ask you a question, at least give me an honest answer.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. What do you want from them, Melissa?
They just need to get a divorce or do something. I want from this to see if it's even worth for them to try anymore, for them to live in the same house. I mean, what you saw there wasn't even the worst of it.
Of course not. The cameras were on. Mariah, what do you want here? What's your feeling about this? You two have bailed. You've moved out to get away from them, right?
I want to see them together because they're my parents, but I want to see them happy. Because they're not happy, obviously.
Where do you come down in this? You're 16, and you wanted to be here. What do you want? You actually separate them when they're fighting, true?
I want them to quit being so selfish and saying that they're with each other just for us, because it doesn't even seem like they're doing it for us anymore, because whenever they fight, they ignore us and they don't want us to be in their fights. So I don't think it has to do with us anymore. And I want them to be together, but I kind of feel like it's too late for them to actually be together and be happy.
Do you prefer to be at home, or do you look for ways to stay gone?
I'm always gone all the time. I always try to find a way to leave the house because I'm just so tired of them fighting, and I just hate being around it, but I hate leaving home too because I don't like leaving my little sister Madison there And I feel like I let her down by leaving her alone with them.
You all feel like you've abandoned her to this chaos, true? How do you feel about that?
I was so young when I witnessed all this stuff. And it's affected me in so many ways. I mean, me and my brother would witness so much stuff when we were younger. And for her to see that, and her already getting in trouble at school, and her already going to the principal's office, I mean, she's taking her anger out somewhere else because she's seeing it at home. And I can't do anything about it.
Well, these kids aren't the only ones affected by their parents' explosive fights. Now, there's a little 5-year-old caught in the middle, too. We'll talk next about the effect all of this fighting has on her.
I worry about my 5-year-old sister, Madison. She is out of control. She's always in the principal's office. When she gets mad, and she will show you from curse words to hitting you. Makes me scared for her future.
My little 5-year-old heard the word when my wife said that to me. All of a sudden, she blurted the word and it's like, girl, you cannot say that. My mommy said it.
Do y'all think that there is not an impact of what you do between each other on these kids? I mean, have you made bad choices in your life?
I've made a lot of bad choices in my life. I don't think I had a child whenever I got pregnant when I was 14, and I had him when I was 15. But I don't think that if that was because of my parents. I think maybe I was trying to find attention somewhere else. But I raised him, and graduated high school and all that stuff with him.
Well, it's interesting that you say, I don't think that it comes from that, and I understand it's difficult to view things from your own point of view about yourselves. And when children grow up in high conflict marriages where there's yelling and screaming and fussing and fighting and violence, all of that, it is unbelievable what happens to them if you look at it across time. They're so much more prone to come into conflict with authority because they have rage inside, so they go out with rage. Girls act out sexually, boys act out aggressively. Their grades go down, conflict goes up, depression, anxiety, mental illness. I mean, it's just, there is a residue of everything that you do on these children, and you've seen it, and now you're seeing your 5-year-old getting sent to the principal's office. I mean, it's just repeating over and over and over again.
And I think that's what scares us, all of us, because we don't want her. I mean, we love her to death. We don't want to see her make those same mistakes I made and make the same mistakes Mariah's made, I was a troubled kid growing up. And I was a very mouthy kid. I was very disrespectful. I was horrible. I was not a good child to me, anyways.
You weren't that horrible, but
Mom, I was always in trouble.
It's
I was
obvious
always getting suspended. I was always getting into detention.
What is your possible point?
Well, I mean, she just said she was a horrible kid. She really wasn't that horrible of a kid. She was actually, I thought, a pretty great kid. I mean, yes, she did get into trouble, and I mean, they told me she was ADHD.
She had a baby at 15. She got pregnant at 14. Mom.
I know, Dr. Phil, and that is troubling. But I'm just saying that she was horrible.
Next, Melissa, Mariah, and Alex say their mom has a serious problem that causes a lot of fights in their family. We're going to hear what it is and why Mom says it's just not true when we come back.
I think a lot of the things that she does instigates things, like her not coming home from work.
How often does that happen?
Well, every payday.
No, that's not true. That you're not there.
Well,
how
but
would
I
you know
hear.
how often I come home?
Because I hear about it, Mom.
From him?
Where does she go on payday?
From me.
That's not
sometimes
true,
from
though.
Alex. She goes to gambling machines.
Pardon me?
Gambling machines.
You know, Dr. Phil, I've been out twice in the last 3 weeks to play video lottery machines, and it's amazing that this is an issue when I'm not with him. But when I'm with him and we go out with our friends and family, it's okay to gamble then. And it's okay if I win and then he takes some of it. You know, it's okay if he's along. It's just when I make a little pit stop for an hour and a half that he gets my children involved, tells them that I'm out doing this.
They feel like you go out weekly, that when you get paid, you go blow 70% of your paycheck on gambling.
That is not true. That's just not true. I mean, you know, how am I paying for all my children's clothes, my clothes, and I've only been working for about a year and a half, after I had Madison.
Did you enjoy Mariah's graduation?
Oh, or because I didn't go to it. She didn't have a graduation, Dr. Phil. Her graduation is in June.
There was a dinner celebration when she graduated. Did you go?
No, I did not.
Where were you?
I was doing errands. I had to go get my glasses. He said that I needed to be there. I talked to her that day on the phone at work. Did I not?
Yeah, you did.
Did I say, Mariah, would you rather have me buy you some clothes for a job interview? Because he told me I got to split the dinner with him when it was brought up to take her out to dinner. And I said, you know what? I'd rather take my money and buy her clothes instead of food. So you go, because I wasn't getting along with him. I didn't want to spend any time with him. I said, you go do that with your dad, and you and I will go spend a day shopping and have lunch or whatever, which we did. So that was agreed
exactly
upon
what I'm
between.
talking about. We don't do anything as a family because those two cannot be together.
And that is true. But I spoke with her about. I did not just not show up. Did I not talk to you that day?
I talked to her.
And did you not say it was okay?
Yeah, it was okay.
And that you would rather?
I mean, I wanted to have dinner with you both, but then at the same time, I wanted to. I needed to get clothes. I needed, you know. But I mean, I wouldn't like to just. I think for the fact of you guys being together.
Are you honestly defending that you weren't with her at this dinner because you didn't want to pay for half of it? You wanted to swap it for clothes. You were running errands. I mean, we're talking about your daughter here. Do you not get it?
Well, I mean, I talked to her. What was I supposed to take from our conversation?
She shouldn't have to tell you, yes, I would rather have you come here and celebrate this with me. Does she have to tell you that, really?
Well, I mean, that's...
I mean, really? Do you have to ask?
I mean, well,
I'm a parent.
Yes.
Listen, I never had to discuss with my kids if they wanted me to be there for one of these events. I mean, come on.
Well, it wasn't...
Where's the common sense here?
Well, okay, if there's no common sense in it, I made a mistake. But, you know, I really thought...
Then say so. You don't think so, though.
Well, I mean, I thought I was doing what was best by her. I honestly did, honestly. Honestly, I felt like I was doing what was best for her.
You know, you might have been right.
I mean, I just really did want her to have some nice... Well, obviously, you don't think so.
No, I don't think so, and I think you are wasting my time, lady.
Well, I apologize.
You are wasting my time. You have to know better than this. How long y'all been married?
25 years.
25 years? Are you slow learners? After 25 years, wouldn't you say, this isn't working? Seriously, Lisa, wouldn't you say, arguing with him is like talking to a fence post?
It's hard for me to express myself because I'm not going to get anything.
That's what my point is. Y'all aren't listening.
Right.
He's not listening to you. Really, you might as well go take a nap because he's not listening to you. He doesn't respond, does he?
No.
You don't get any change, do you? Is it time to throw in the towel here? Maybe, maybe not. I've got a series of questions I'm going to ask. I may get honest answers to them. I may not. I may get semantics games, and we'll go home the way we came. But I'm going to put it out there, and we're going to see what y'all have to say. We'll be right back.
My parents fight about my mom going out. There was an incident where my mom was at a bar. She was on the dance floor with another guy. I went and grabbed her like she was my child and yanked her out and threw her in my car and made her leave. I told her that was enough, and that was just not right.
Is there a point at which you say enough's enough?
Yes.
Are you there?
Very close.
Each of my parents are good parents in a different. My mom is an amazing mom.
I have no doubt.
She's an amazing mom. And it's just so hard when they're together. They're horrible parents. But when they're separate, my mom, she is an amazing, I mean, she cleans, she gets Madison ready, she does a lot of the motherhood stuff, and she works all day. And then my dad, you know, does a lot of his stuff with us kids in our own way, but together, they're horrible. And it's just hard because they just can't be together and make all of us happy. And it's been going on forever. I mean, it's always been that way. Camping trips to even the flipping store. I mean, it's like horrible.
They say for 25 years, this has been going on and they're sick of it. But you tell me, no, this is not really what happens. So I don't know what to tell you.
Just recently, all I meant by that, Dr. Phil, was just recently.
So what do you want from me? Seriously, I'm about to say goodbye to all of you because I don't know what you want from me. So I'm going to say goodbye to you here. But before you go, you have a question? I feel like we've accomplished absolutely nothing. I totally get it. I mean, I understand how y'all feel. But I'm not going to argue with you because I ain't married to you.
I'm not arguing with you. How can I not say something that...
You can
know,
say
I was
anything,
told that just tell the truth. I'm telling the truth.
Well...
And so, I mean, what do you want?
What do you want from me?
Well, we're hoping to get some direction. Should we...
Ask me a question.
Should we get more counseling? No. End it? I think it's pretty much at the point where, you know, we need to just go our separate ways.
Well, you have three choices. Okay, one is, well, actually, you have four. You can continue what you're doing, which you minimize, trivialize, and dispute when I describe it. So whatever it is, let's take your description of it. Let's assume that y'all have not fought for 25 years and created a hostile environment, a cold, emotionally barren environment between the two of you that these kids have had to watch as their models in life. Let's assume that's it. But can we at least agree with this without any details? Can we agree that it is not working the way it is? This is not a functional, healthy relationship. Yeah. Can we agree with that? However we want to fill in the details, whether you gamble or you don't. You say you don't, they say you do.
I do, I just don't do it as often as he tells me.
Okay, so let's say you gamble a little bit, but not as much as they say. But whatever the details are, what?
Well, I mean, I feel like everybody finds that amusing, but, you know, it's amazing that when we're out...
Do you see me laughing?
No, I hear people
I see nothing
laughing.
funny here. I see nothing funny.
Okay,
here.
well, I'm just saying that, you know, it seems to be okay when we're in an environment with our friends for me to be able to stick a few bucks in the machine, but when I'm out alone, I mean, can't I have some entertainment on my own?
I don't know.
He has lots of entertainment on his own. He goes out with his friends, goes to the bars, See, now, they're not going to tell you that because he doesn't bring them into that. He only tells them about anything that I'm doing. He never shares with what he's doing or the fact that he goes out to the bars with his friends. I have to find out about it from other people, the lies that he's told me. You know, I mean, they only hear what he's told them. And, of course, they have seen the chaos over the 25 years.
Would you like to know what the bubble over my head is? It's not that hard to figure out, but you're going to hear about it. What'd you want to say?
I have nothing to say.
Why not?
I think it's pathetic. This is all pathetic. I mean, it's 25 years that nobody knows about, and we're sitting here saying every negative thing, and I just feel like they're
not bad people.
But I know deep down they want to be with each other, but you guys just hold on to all of the past, all of what he did to you, all of what you've done to him, and it's like, nobody's. You
There's
guys
no
are.
fresh start.
Every fight is about the past.
Yeah, there's no fresh start. There's no
And it's repeating
forgiveness.
yourself.
Let's move forward.
You guys just keep repeating yourself, repeat yourself.
Yeah.
You know what you do wrong, and you know what you do wrong. And we're just sitting here doing what we do when we start arguing. But right now we can't really argue and get into a big fight. So it's.
I look at this and I say, all right, in a high conflict marriage, staying together for the children is not a good idea. Because in a high conflict marriage, they are better off with divorce. Statistics, research tells that, longitudinal studies where you track kids that are children of divorce, of high conflict marriages, they do better. Kids are resilient, they get over it. There's no such thing as a good divorce. Everybody says, well, we won't let it get nasty. You know, we'll have an amicable divorce. There's no such thing as a good divorce. It creates two worlds that these children have to navigate back and forth between. Oftentimes they become a rope in a tug of war, they get pawns in a power struggle, they get caught in the middle. In a good divorce, at a minimum, they have to navigate two worlds. So I don't take that lightly. I don't take getting a divorce lightly, because even in a high conflict situation with an amicable divorce, it has an impact on these kids. So I look at all of that and I say, all right, you know what? I'm going to bring these people on the show. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about this, because I'm looking and I see, you know, I have things here. See, I have things broken down to even this is what the parents admit. So we don't have to argue about it, because I don't want to go through arguing about everything. So I break it down. I've got a 250-page notebook on this family that I have read cover to cover. I know more about you than you probably know about yourself. I remember things about you you've probably forgotten. Most of them were good, actually. Parents admit, arrested for domestic violence. You say he punched you in the face and pulled your hair. That you accidentally backhanded her one time. That you fought in the car, pushing and shoving. Both have been arrested for disorderly conduct. And you want to argue with me about how much you fight or not? I'm saying, are you kidding me? This is what you admit. This is what you admit. This isn't even what this is a debate. We talk about your gambling. According to Melissa, Mariah, Alex, Willie, Lisa has a serious gambling problem. That's a perception. You may disagree with that. You're obviously defensive about it, because either you don't have any insight to it, you do have a gambling problem, so as any addict, you would be deflecting and not acknowledging it, or they really misconstrue what's going on here and you have a misperception that you need to correct. I don't know. I've never been to the casino with you. I don't do the math. I don't know. You know, they tell me how much you make a week and that you spend approximately 70% of it on gambling. I don't know whether you do.
Kids told you?
Yes.
Really?
I don't know whether it's true or not. It's a perception. It's a don't be defensive about it again. This is my bubble over my head. You don't get to be in my bubble. I'm either going to tell you that you need to shut this down, or that you need to stop being defensive. You need to stop arguing about history. I mean, that's your point. It's the same thing. It's like watching a rerun of I Love Lucy, right? It's the same thing over and over and over, and nothing ever gets resolved, right? If these guys had hired you as a couple, as parents, as problem solvers, not as individuals, but as a couple. You know, like you go buy a place in the country and there's an old couple that takes care of it, and so you hire the couple. And they're going to be like caretakers, and you come back and you see how they're doing. They would fire your butt. For these two, they're out. They've escaped. They have some work to do, and I'm going to help them do that no matter what y'all do. I'm going to offer them resources. I'm going to offer them help. I'm going to try to give them a chance to not repeat your history in their lives. This one's still at home. And let me tell you what she's going to do. She's going to jump in the arms of the first old boy that blows in her ear and tells her everything's going to be okay. And she probably doesn't know that, but these girls look for a soft place to fall. She is at risk. I'm sorry, but you're at risk, and I hope that we get to you before you make a bad decision. You got a 5-year-old at home. She's got another 13 years of this to put up with. She got another 13 years, and she's picking up the tab just like you did, and you did, and you are. She's picking up tabs. It's kind of like you go down the lunch line and you pick up conflict, coldness, discord, emptiness. Your tray is just full, and you get to the cash register at the end, and the cashier turns to Madison and says, "You pay. You pick up the tab for this. Alex, you pay. Madison, you pay." They've paid for a long time. Now these two kids pay. So it's time to stop being selfish. It's time to say, you know what? They deserve better from us. They deserve an apology, and don't you make it now, because they wouldn't believe it, and they don't want to hear it. They want to see it. They want to see you do different. When we come back, I got a message for Willie that he and every man in America needs to hear. You can continue doing what you do. You can get a divorce and just shut this down. You know, those are two of your choices. Or third, you can declare some kind of superficial détente, or you can really mature enough to try and fix this for your family. If your daughter has to come and get you off of a dance floor somewhere because she's bothered by your presence there, that's a perception issue. It's a wrong message that they don't need from their mother right now. So you have to be willing to clean up the perceptions and the realities. And you keep your hands off this woman. There is no theory under which you ever have the right to put your hands on a woman in anger, ever. Ever. You don't do that. I agree. And don't do that in your relationships. Don't do that in your relationships. You know,
But it has happened in our relationships.
that's what I know. That's what I'm saying. Do you see?
I do.
Say that again.
It has happened in our relationships.
In both of theirs.
In both of ours.
Yes. No. No. It's a done.
You're a walking poster for the fact that high conflict marriages with violence, abuse, discord, yelling, screaming, spawn relationships, particularly with women, that go and do the same thing, which is why I say I want to help you all understand how to not allow that to happen. You can't model this. This has to stop. I don't care how much she bothers you, how much she pesters you, yells at you, gigs you. There is no theory under which he has right to put his hands on you in anger. Whether it's pulling your hair, tearing your blouse, hitting you in the face, whatever. You don't put up with that, not ever again in your life. You don't deserve it, and you don't have to put up with that, and don't you do it. Okay? You don't deserve that. You haven't done anything to deserve that. That was wrong. It was unfair. And you had every right to kick his butt to the curb the split second it happened, because it is a drop-dead deal breaker, and I wouldn't blame you if you did it now. But you need to understand that's not an option. And if it ever happens, you should put him under the jail. Call the police, prosecute him, and put him away. Do not show your daughters you don't put up with that.
That's what I did the last time.
And that's the sad part, because I defended my dad.
Well, there's no theory under which he should ever touch your mother or any other woman, or anybody ought to put their hands on the two of you. Do you get that? That is not okay for somebody to put their hands on you in anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
She has an issue with that. I don't know if she thinks it's okay, but...
No, she does. It's okay.
Ryan, nobody has the right to hit you. What do I need to say to make you believe that?
I guess just with my past, my self-esteem is you think you deserve it. I mean, it's weird to say, but I don't know.
No woman deserves to be treated with disrespect like that.
But let me ask you a few questions here, and just talk to me honestly here. How old is your child?
It's 22 months.
What's his name?
Hayden.
Hayden? How special is Hayden?
He's the reason why I wake up every day.
Would you die for Hayden?
Absolutely.
Then would you live for Hayden?
Yeah.
Because you need to hear me here. If you love that little boy, and I can see and feel that you do, then you take care of his mother, because you're it. You're the only mother he'll ever have. And if you don't value his mother, then he won't value himself. If you don't protect his mother, then she won't be there. You'll be emotionally bankrupt. You'll be damaged. You'll be destroyed. You won't be there. You can't give away what you don't have. If you don't have self-esteem where you walk with pride and dignity in your life, then he will not learn to walk with pride and dignity in his life. If your self-esteem is on the floor, then we've got to get it up. I've got to help you with that. I will help you with that. But it starts with saying, I'm going to protect his mother. Do you see what this has spun off? Yes. I'm not trying to make y'all feel guilty. I'm trying to give you a call to action. This is a time to say, you know what? We aren't through parenting. It is time that we step up and do the right thing in the right way.
Correct.
And you may need to get a divorce, but you're not ready to get a divorce. You need to do some things before you make that decision. Because right now there's too much anger, there's too much bitterness, there's too much resentment, there's too much defensiveness, there's too much noise. And it's time to decide you're going to put somebody first. But I'm telling you, it's not too late for this one, this one, this one, this one. It is not too late for either of you. Now, we're obviously just getting started here, but are you willing to throw in and get this family in the right direction?
Yes. That's why I'm
Me
here.
too. Yes. I am.
I really feel like I have their attention at this point. What do you think? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
You think? All right. All right. We'll be right back. Look, parenting doesn't come with an instruction manual. I wish it did. But today we've discussed some tools to help along the way. And it has so much to do with asking yourself what your priorities are and comparing that with what you're really spending your time and energy on. Now, if you're a parent who can use some fine-tuning and the guests on today's show remind you of your own family, go to drphil.com, click on Be on the Show, and you can tell us your story. Thanks for being here. So long. Thanks, guys. See y'all. Bye-bye.